Welcome to The Drum Shuffle, a podcast offering insights, perspectives, and conversations for drummers. I'm your host, Jamie Eads.
Hey, how's it going out there, everybody? Welcome to the Drum Shuffle. Jamie Eads joining you as I do each and every week. This is episode 139. I hope everybody's having a great week out there. I hope everybody is getting prepared for the holidays because they are upon us. Beautiful fall weather out there, really enjoying this time of year. Just can't thank you enough for tuning in. Hey, we've got a fantastic episode for you today. I am going to be joined by Simone Prattico today to talk about his new album, Oriundo, right after this message from our sponsor, Los Cabos Drumsticks. The best kept secret for drummers is finally out. Los Cabos Drumsticks may look like the sticks you grew up with, but these are not your father's drumsticks. Los Cabos Drumsticks is Canada's #1 drumstick brand, and they are coming to a retailer near you. With operations in over 28 countries worldwide, thousands of drummers have already discovered the Los Cabos difference. Using FSC certified wood from Canada and the US, Los Cabos make the finest quality drumsticks, percussion tools, and accessories on the market. The best news, Los Cabos Drumsticks offers you a ton of choice. They have 22 individual drumstick models and 14 percussion tools, many of which are available in 3 different wood types: maple, white hickory, and red hickory. Red hickory comes from the center or heart of the hickory tree and has been independently proven to be both stronger and more elastic than white hickory without adding a lot of weight. While most drumstick manufacturers have shunned red hickory, Los Cabos Drumsticks has embraced it, becoming the only established stick brand in the world to offer a full line of red hickory drumsticks. To learn more about Los Cabos Drumsticks, visit them online at loscabosdrumsticks.com, follow them on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and don't forget to ask for Los Cabos Drumsticks at your favorite retailer. Dare to be different. Join the Red Hickory Revolution with Los Cabos Drumsticks. All right, guys and girls, as I mentioned before the break, we're going to be joined by Simone Prattico here in just a moment. Simone is an Italian-based drummer who has also spent quite a bit of time in Paris and New York. He has a very unique career in that he has specifically set his career up so that he is spending time at home in Rome, part of the year in Paris, and part of the year in New York. It's a very unique setup. His new record, Oriundo, was released on Friday, November 12th. It is his second album as a leader, but this guy just has so many great credits to his name, and we have a fantastic conversation. I cannot recommend his new record enough. If you don't already have it, you should go pick up a copy without a doubt, and check the links over at thedrumshuffle.com for where you can pick up your copy. But please help me welcome to the Drum Shuffle podcast, Simone Prattico. Good evening, Simone. How are you, sir?
Hey, Jamie. Very good. And you? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great.
I'm glad to be.
Yeah, thanks for taking time to come on. You know, I think you may be the first interview I've done with someone actually in Italy.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
I think so. You know, we've had Italian drummers, but they're usually on tour in the States. So I appreciate you helping me get through the time challenges and the time differences and taking time out of your evening to do this. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no, this is quite early here in Rome. It's nice, 7 p.m. We are, Italian, we are late in everything, like late dinner. It's quite early here. I'm very glad to be, on Drum Shuffle. So,
well, we certainly appreciate you Yeah, we certainly appreciate you taking the time to do it. So, for our listeners who may not be familiar with you, I want to do what I traditionally do, and that's kind of go through the very beginning. So you were born in Rome and started playing at a very early age, but the thing that jumped out to me the most is you started studying at a very early age with, quite frankly, one of my heroes, the great Robero Spizzichino, who, I still covet one of those legendary ride cymbals. I just can't afford one, but so you started at an early age. So tell me do you remember back? Why did you choose the drums? What do you come from a musical family?
Look, no, my brother used to play guitar, but in fact, as my parents were telling me that I was always, hitting something since I was really like 2 years old. Everything, with I don't know, forks, knives, everything was like a rhythm for me. And then I didn't have drums here. We're talking about the 70s, So my brother built some drums with, like Carstone, something like this. And then was really my passion. So I was playing already with him. I also playing along the records we have at home, which was mostly not that much actually, because my parents were more classical, music, but we had some like mainly Motown music from my brother, hard reggae, and and also traditional Napolitan music, which is with frame drums,
Sure.
I don't know if you know, yeah. And I was playing along every afternoon, yeah. Every afternoon till summer. And then my mom say, okay, it's time to do something with this. And there was a little jazz school in the room. Called, I can't remember, Mississippi Jazz Club, and the drum teacher was Robero Spizzichino. So I was there, and Roberto, after 6 months, left the school, and I called back my mom and said, okay, this little one, I would like to keep giving him lessons. So can you bring me to my home in the afternoons? I said, okay. So basically, I spent Roberto was kind of my drum teacher, but also my babysitter almost every afternoon, So I was playing on his garage drum kit. He was cooking, He was, sometimes I was on, he put on headphones. I was playing with it was amazing. Because he was like, he has been for me like a second father, really, really. Actually, I was the only, when he passed away, I was only one called by the family, to go there. And for me, it was like a big, big loss, but he gave me so much. Because, it's not only in terms of symbols. When I was starting with him, I was a kid. He was starting his experimental, like cooking symbols in the kitchen. Why I was making paradiso, He was, wait, go ahead. I have to do something. I want to try something. So he was kind of, alchemist. Yeah,
Yeah, sure, yeah.
And he has very deep vision of the music and of the drums. He always told me, okay, a few things are important when you play: the intensity, this is the main thing. Focus and intensity. Then the rest is, I remember we spent maybe 8 years ago, maybe more, 3 days in Tuscany where he has No, more. What did I say? Because he died before, yeah. With Adam Cruz, do you know the drummer, Adam?
Sure.
Which is one of my favorite, is a great friend of mine. And we went to, and Roberto, we spent 3 days trying cymbals. I was like, they guys, you crazy. I was like hanging out in the in the country while they're but it was, and Adam told me, wow, this guy also plays amazing. He has a swing incredible. He's not playing. Why? I said, that's Roberto. He's a philosopher, as we say here. No, it was great, man. It was, and I think he gave me great basics, also.
Well, I obviously I never got to meet Roberto, but he had such a love for jazz music and such a deep understanding of what jazz drummers wanted to hear. And when he started making cymbals, when I first heard of these cymbals, I was like, look, there is no ride cymbal worth $10,000. That's what I thought until I heard one.
Exactly.
And then I went, yeah, that's worth every penny of it.
No, it's crazy. If one day you have Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to say it really is crazy at just how great those things were and are. So, I'll say to all my listeners, if you ever see a Spizzichino cymbal someplace, buy it. It's worth every penny.
That's true. Then, it's also a good place to talk about this just for the drummer community. It's good to know he was a lovely man. He was not at all a businessman. So, it's also a pity that these treasures he made. Sometimes people try to speculate on this. You know what I mean? For me, are piece of art. These cymbals. I don't have many actually, because but the ones I have, I'm not carrying, in tour with me. It's a home. I'm playing in studio.
Sure.
But this is for me, Roberto. I feel very lucky. First of all, he was with me. His family is like my family. I consider this, but also lucky because he I think he was part of the jazz. You know what I mean? Sound, really.
Sure.
I have to say it, the real one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
also it was. With me, he was a little. Just one last thing. With me, he was like okay, but he was, because every time we saw, I go to his place. He plays so different, many different. So sometimes he was like giving me advices on cymbals that he would not give to a jazz drummer. He also knew I don't know, I can remember the name. Remember the rock cymbals like pasty, the big ones, because they say, hey, I have to do this. And he was very open too. He was not like, just police.
Sure.
He knew everything about the cymbals. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just obviously just an artisan, and I can only imagine it must be just amazing to have him as such an influence in your life. And, I know that you sort of transitioned, how do I get this across? High school age, so late teens, you started playing, concerts, in Italy, and it kind of led to, and I'll let you kind of tell the story, but it led you many different places. Obviously you spend, you make your home in Italy, but you also have a home base in Paris and you have a home base in New York. But tell us how that all sort of started happening for you to, to start moving to different places in the world to play.
Exactly. Yeah. I started very early, yes, to play. As you said, I have gigs here in Italy. Actually, I was very lucky because I had good gigs at the time. I mean, I'm talking about, like pop, well-paid gigs at the time was existing. And at the same time, the network, Jazz Network here in Rome, and Brazilian, which is one of my musical club, was very rich, very rich in terms of like great musicians. Still Rome is full of very, very good jazz musicians. So I was in very early age, I was able, first of all, to earn my life, as a drummer, as a musician. And at the same time, learn a lot by older jazz musicians because, here, I don't know if you know the scene at the time was like, Chet Baker. I was not playing with Chet Baker, but many Americans lived in Rome and played with local jazz musicians. And, there's a good tradition, in our musician. Actually, Italy is a very musical country.
Sure.
To say so. But in terms also jazz, what we like of drums, for example, my family comes from Naples. I'm born and raised in Rome, but a lot of great drummers was learning from the U.S. Navy, big band. So
Sure.
In Naples, you had great big band drummers, for example, from Naples, who was like, learning from these guys come here because, so it's, that's also, this is this blend between Mediterranean stuff, south of Italy, and Afro-American music. For me, it's been my, my feeding, like my baby bottle.
right
And
on. That's such a great analogy to say this is what I grew up on, so therefore it's going to come out, right?
Yeah, of course, at the time there was no, conservatory for jazz or like new school or I don't know what. Here was, it was, you had to play and find a good teacher. And so I was lucky. So coming back to your question, I was very, in my early 20s already, I was like recording in the artists quite new here, in Italy, like national, I would say stars, it's like singers, kind of like this. And very soon I was attracted by living from here. Go away at the first opportunity I had was in Paris, in France. So I started to work there with I fell in love with African music, also with African musicians, Brazilian a lot. And why? So I was like kind of back and forth from Italy, Paris. It was like I was young, it was okay, and then in 2000. We're talking years later, 2005, 4, I go to Paris. I decide to move there, also because I met my wife, of course. There's always a reason. And, I became the house drummer of the Brazilian jazz session at Blue Note in Paris at the time.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I decided I was a bit like, don't misunderstand me. I respect everything, but I was a little bit tired about like pop music here, even if it was paying good. And I decided to go there and try to stay more there. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I was playing since 2005, I was playing with everyone in town, and also a lot of Brazilian greats coming touring. And from there, I played 2005, I had my first nice engagement in New York. So it came all together from this year, So I was not that much at home, I can tell you, from my 35 until the pandemic, let's say that.
Sure. Well, and then I know that, in just kind of reading through your history, I know you got to New York, somewhere around 2010, and you were, doing master classes with people like John Riley and Kenny Washington. I mean, that's
of course.
I mean, that's royalty that you're studying with, so how I'm curious, obviously Rome, big city, Paris, big city, thriving art scenes. And then you get to New York, which obviously is the largest city in the US, and there's a great jazz scene there, or at least there was, back in those days. How hard was the transition along the way? I mean, I guess if you're a good player, you're going to find work, but how difficult was it for you as you were making these moves, becoming the the house band at the Blue Note for the Brazilian jams in Paris? That's a first call kind of gig. I mean, you obviously have chops. How did you find that transitioning to New York to play? Was it much more difficult, or was it about the same?
Look, I think once again, I was lucky because when I go to New York, I have that my, let's say my art, except from 2005, but I was always called by production. You know what I mean? European production or something like this. I did like a radio show. I don't know if you have, but so I didn't have to make the hard life, the struggle of the life in New York, which I don't know if I will. I mean, there was a moment with my wife who was thinking, okay, let's move there and make the move, so without coming back to Europe. But at the same time, I think my chance was that I was called for engagement from production, so I didn't have to live with gigs at $80. You know what I mean?
Sure. So
I did this.
You weren't starting over every time. In other words,
start over. What do you mean?
Well,
again, to start from zero. That's what do you mean?
Yeah, starting from zero. You weren't doing that, so you already had some gigs lined up when you with each move that you made. Okay, that makes sense, and it makes it a whole lot easier.
Yeah, very much, a lot easier in New York. But at the same time, I think I had the opportunity to play with locals because I didn't go to New York like, hey guys, I'm a jazz drummer,
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like you come to Naples and say, hey guy, I want to make a pizza better than you. It's impossible. I respect jazz. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. That's great.
It's a little bit. I mean, that's of course the great Italian drummer I know living in New York. They play like Americans. But also, Jamie, that's not in my. It's not in my deep. It's not what I want. It's not what I want. I want just to have my style and keep together what I did, all the experience who goes from of course, from jazz thing to. But I mean, I grew up with the groove, with listening groove, Motown records, and so. A lot of Brazilian. That's why I get a lot of Brazilian gigs. I just recorded last week in Paris, actually, for Raul Mascarenhas, who was the sax player with, Gilberto Gil, Hermeto Pascoal. And it was so good to play again Brazilian, man. I love this. I love this kind of rhythm or music. So, but sorry, I get lost. But so today, I think why it worked. I could play in the States because I think I came here as Simone, with my experience, with my weakness,
Yeah.
Technical. I didn't go to, the school like New School or this Berkeley. Even if when I was 18, I won a grant for Berkeley here in Italy. Yeah, I didn't go. That's crazy, yeah? I know.
Yeah, that
it's a big regret.
Yeah.
But if you knew my girlfriend at the time, you will understand. I want to stay here.
I hear you. Well, I think there's, you bring up a really interesting point there, about the schools, and I've had many, graduates from Berkeley on the show, some of the greatest drummers in the world, and, Frost in Miami, and, the New England Conservatory of Music. I mean, all of these great schools, and there's no question those are great players, but there's just as many people that didn't get that level of education that are incredible players. So I don't think there's one path that you have to follow to be successful, right?
I think so. Yeah, of course. I said, I'm totally convinced about what you're saying. That's for me is the truth,
For sure.
Of course, it makes things easier. I played with a Paris Music Chamber Orchestra in the Philharmonie, which is a very important thing. Of course, I felt my reading skills compared to these guys. I was like, I was thinking of myself that I wish I was going to school a little bit more, to study music. But at the same time, with the age, you learn how to memorize. And you also develop more, sometimes, how to say, sensibility. You know what I mean? You have other skills. Yeah, you develop other skills.
Sure. Well, and you have to. Because case in point, you bring you bring up reading. I can read just enough to be dangerous, right? And so you figure out ways where, okay, this is a gig where you're going to have to do a lot of reading. You ask for the music ahead of time, so you can know what's going on, so you don't have to sight read it, because that's not a strength that I have.
Exactly. No. That exactly that is. But also, what I'm saying is sometimes our weakness, our luck, I would say luck, they are compensated by other stuff. Of course, Jamie, someone who goes in all these great, the young guys, also who goes to these great schools, conservatories, and on top of that, they have talent and they can develop other skills. That's what makes a great musician. But it's also true, yes, only going to a great school is not the only thing. It's not the only part, I just said. Yeah.
Sure. Well, go. Please finish your thought. Go ahead.
No. I was just to say concerning Kenny Washington. For me, is something who never stops. I mean, when I go or I see someone, I think I have to learn something. Even if I was already playing professionally, I wanted to go to Kenny Washington, take this classes with him. John Ryder, she's as well as I don't know if you know him. For me, one of the best drummers in New York. His name is Portinho. He's a Brazilian guy. He's 84. He's not famous. Maybe he has this guy, but someone who wants to learn about the Brazilian music, about the groove, about the funk, has to see this guy play,
Sure. Well,
so it's a never-ending process.
absolutely. And, I think for me, and I'm sure you're the same way, I never go see another band or another drummer where I don't pick up something new every time.
Sure, exactly.
It's a lifelong pursuit to, improve our abilities on the instrument. And, sometimes I see people do things or hear people do things and I go, wow, I never thought about it that way. So,
Exactly.
I don't know if it's stealing or not, but I incorporate that into my own playing every time I go see a different drummer play.
Absolutely. That's it. Yeah. Even yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well,
Sorry.
I was just going to say it's, it's, we are as musicians a sum of all of our parts, meaning you took things from Roberto, you took things from your time playing in Rome as a teenager, you took things from playing Brazilian music in Paris, you took things from, Kenny Washington and John Riley, and that's what makes Simone, right?
Yeah, I think, but that's exactly. Or if I played, I don't know, a lot also with North African musicians, like also WOMAD, Abu Dhabi, Peter Gabriel's festival, like world music, and the thing that worked for me was to be trying to be myself, incorporate, as you said, incorporate this in Simone, as you would do for Jay. I think sometimes what doesn't work is trying to be, okay, I want to play Cuban music as a Cuban guy. I mean, you can, but if you're Cuban, it works much better. You know what I mean? If you have to,
Right.
you have to spend the whole life. There's people who are doing great. I mean, the other thing is find the point you really touch your soul musically, the grooves, the musicality, and make it yours. For me, it's Brazilian. Yes, something of the Maghreb. Maghreb is not of Africa, and or African groups, and I think I incorporate this. It's not voluntary. Yeah? I have to tell you the truth. It's just when I practice, I see my practice in this. It goes in this musical direction. Even if I practice, I don't know, Joe Morello, then on his snare drum, because I was Guy Lefebvre. I was graduated with this great master or military snare drum, was in France, was a great man. But I use this naturally to express what it touched me musically and rhythmically. You know what I mean? Which is a mix, yeah.
Yeah, I do, and it's all brilliant stuff, and I just think that I don't want to confuse anyone. If you love John Bonham from Led Zeppelin and you want to learn to play exactly like John Bonham from Led Zeppelin, that's great. And you can be in a Led Zeppelin tribute band and play all of his parts note for note. That's great, but it's not you.
Exactly.
You have to, and if you spend too much time doing those things, you lose who you are as a musician, I think.
Yeah, that's true. At the same time, as every master can tell us, they spend time to have models, but then they use the models to be themselves.
Yes.
It's good. You can. I mean, you cannot be someone else. So it's as in life, I think it's very easy, simple as this. You cannot be someone else. I mean, nowadays it's maybe a little different because, some music doesn't really require a lot of personality, in general, not only drummers. But I think every time you bring something, you feel better, the music feels better. Something from you, from yourself, from deep, for your personality. Even if it's music, I think that's important, yeah. I mean, I'm doing some master class too in university in Switzerland.
Okay.
And what I was doing before the pandemic, actually, I had to say, now everyone had to say this. And I call this rhythmic arrangement. So, of course, I teach drums, all this stuff, but it's really the intention you play one song, it's not only the groove, it's not the technique, but it's an ensemble of things. It's the sound you choose, it's the groove, how you interpret the interpretation of the groove, the percussion. You can add the percussion, and it's very the very good drummers there in the school, and I was surprised because for us maybe this is okay, of course this is basic, but maybe not everyone was thinking about this, the importance of make things feel real, because you when you play something you think, you feel is the right thing to play. So, and the music could be enriched by this, get better from this, from your unicity. I don't know how to say,
Y'all, no. I completely agree. I'm going to switch gears a little bit here and change directions because, at some point, and I want to say your first record as a leader came out a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. But I want to talk about your new record, which at the time of recording this is hitting the streets tomorrow. And I think this episode will air after the record is out. So it's coming out on November 12th, worldwide. And it's called Oriundo.
Oriundo.
Yes. Yeah. And so I have listened to this record and it's brilliant. It's amazing. I love it. It's so good. So let's talk a little bit about somewhere along the way, you made the decision to do, a record, now this is your second record as a leader. What led up to that?
It was very natural. I mean, very simply, it was a need I had to express something more, than playing. Even if I was very lucky to play in the last year with people who are very free to play with, like for other people. They let me play my way, so it's fantastic. But I want to express more of myself, and it was more. Yeah, it's more like a need. We have to do something, It's not because I would like to it's not a simple question,
Yeah.
It's a deep question, you know what I mean? Because, it touched something. Probably I had some, as many as everyone has something inside you want to express. And then that's it. That's the way to do it. I also, actually, was very lucky because also I wanted to do it with people I feel good in the studio making music, but also when you go to the restaurant with musicians, of the band. I wanted to, it's not just about the music, I want to express something. Actually, Oriundo is very resuming the title of. For me, this one is very. I really care about this album just because I feel it more personal, you know.
Sure. Well,
So, because it's co-composed with my great friend, one of my best friends, Klaus Mueller, an amazing piano player from New York, arranger, piano player. So, and we really have fun and writing this music, you know.
Sure. And we
really want to do.
It was recorded in New York, correct?
Yeah. Always same studio, Brooklyn.
Okay.
Acoustic recording, Michael Brewery. I love this place. Yeah.
Well, the one thing that I notice about the record is, you know, and I've said this a million times on this show. Sometimes when you hear, you know, okay, here's a jazz record, you know, that is being led by a drummer, you think, oh, it's going to be a drum solo a minute. You know, it's just going to be, you know, somebody playing drum solos over, you know, jazz music. That's not what this record is, although there are great drum parts. And I really loved Village Debate. I loved what you did there. And I think you were going for a debate in a village, literally. Like you can almost hear the point and counterpoint of people debating one another with you on the drums. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Thank you. But this is also, this is a drum piece, for example. It's really a drum piece for me. And that's, I mean, you said everything. That's what is about this. Of course, it's an improvisation. I did like one or two takes of this. And as we said, it's about the feeling the music gives you, you know. So when you hear back, okay, that's exactly, you can see, you know, the guys playing cards, you know, in the village, debating, or maybe the voices of some, and that's exactly what I didn't have in mind, because I'm not thinking while playing, but the idea is exactly this, you know, what you say about this song. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, and everything on there is great. And I don't want to give everybody the wrong idea that it's nothing but, you know, drum pieces or whatever. 'Cause, you know, there's a track called Promise Me You'll Remember, which, you know, maybe I missed it, but there's hardly any drums at all in that piece. And it's just a beautiful melodic, you know, ballad type piece. And the whole record is just, you're not going to put it on and listen to one song and say, yeah, I'm done. You're going to want to listen to the whole thing when you put it on. And it's just brilliant. And, you know, kudos to you, because it's a wonderful collection of music.
Oh, thank you very much. Really, I'm very happy to hear this, because I really care. For me, this album is very important. For me, personally, you know. And also, there's a lot of friends in this, you know, as I said, these great musicians playing. Everyone was in the same vibe, you know, Klaus, Chet on double bass, and Edward Perez too. I mean, I think this record was really made with love, you know. Sorry to say, it's maybe banality. It maybe sounds cheesy, but it's exactly what it is, you know. So, as it's also a lot about drums, of course, but without, compared to the first one I did. But I'm very happy. For example, there's an article came out in a good magazine in France, and the guy said, yes, if someone thinks drums is not music, we'll change the idea, listen to this.
Oh, wow.
It was very nice.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You can, and it sounds fantastic, but you can tell that it was, a project of love, for without a doubt. It doesn't seem like it was just thrown together at the last minute. We can, at least I can hear that you put a lot of thought into it and left space for the other musicians. It's just a really good record that I hope everybody will go out and pick up. But it leads me to another question. And the music world has been so different over the last year and a half because of the global health pandemic. And, for someone like you that spends time in 3 or 4 different countries, I'm assuming it's been a lot harder for you. And, we know how hard Italy was hit early on in the pandemic. Talk to us a little bit about how you've had to adjust your operation based on not being able to travel, for example.
Yeah. Well, it's been very hard. Yeah. I mean, especially, because I don't like the term build, but I make my career, I choose to make it like living in different places and playing in different situations, like, as you said, mostly Paris and New York, but, a lot of Germany. I went to Japan quite often, and so first of all, it's been super weird to be home, but at the same time, my kids were super happy at the beginning. Yeah, but in terms of works was because I had the chance that they had still people calling me for recording session, for example, in Rome, in Italy. So what that makes it, but that, I was not traveling anymore. As you know, nobody knew also what's gonna be after, so. And, but at the same time, I decide to, that's what I'm doing actually, I think you do already, to set up like a little studio with good gear, trying to create new music,
Sure.
That's what that's what I didn't do this while the pandemic, but that's what this problem suggested to me. Is like, Simone, okay, you of course think will be better. I'm starting again to travel a little bit, and but I realized that what I really want to do is produce music. Produce my music, my groups, and also because during the pandemic you have a lot of calls. For example, for people who wanted, can you record these drums or this arrangement? Yeah. But had to go to other studio, of course. So now I'm learning to do by myself, and it will take time because I'm very picky, very difficult with myself. But I will do mainly for myself here. So, but the pandemic was,
well,
for me, who I didn't have, exactly.
I was just going to say, I think so many of us drummers, made the decision, the same decision. And that is, I don't want to be reliant on someone else's studio that I can't go to right now. So a lot of us, myself included, started figuring out really quickly, how do I record drums at home? Right. And I just think it may not always be that we have to do that, but for now, it's a way to keep working and keep honing our craft without being reliant on someone else's building or abilities or equipment. And it's a very hard process because, you know very well, microphones aren't cheap.
Yeah. No, I guess. But at the same time, is also something who can. I mean, I'm very honest. I cannot record yet, so I am very lucky because one of my best friends in Rome has a great studio. Is the one who mixed the part of the album, because the 2 songs are mixed by Klaus Müller and the rest is from Francesco De Niri. And this studio, he makes amazing sound. It's like 20 minutes from my home. So if I want to do a very professional, then I know where to go.
Sure.
But the thing of learning how to record our stuff is good. First of all, yes, people not necessarily need like top studio quality every time. So it's good, But also for our own creativity, it's very good to record our stuff with good quality, It's super important for ideas and composition. And then when we get, I'm sure you're very good. But if one day I will be good, yes, I can work with this,
Sure. Well, and I mean, I don't think there's a better teacher in the world than listening back to what you just recorded, right? When I know,
exactly.
I can pick myself apart in a recording session and I can say, gosh, why did I do that? That's so stupid. I need to improve there. It's a great learning tool. So for everybody out there listening, record yourself playing. Whether it's along to your favorite song or just a groove or whatever, when you listen back, it will help you get better, guaranteed.
Definitely. Sure.
Yeah. So
that's it.
So I want to be respectful of your time. Again, I'm going to encourage everybody to go out and pick up a copy of the record. It will be out by the time you hear this interview. As is our tradition here, Simone, we ask all of our guests for good advice to incorporate into our playing, our careers. So as we wrap up, what would you offer up as an essential piece of advice for other musicians?
I would say be real, Be yourself, be real. That's it.
And that's great advice. And we touched on that a little bit earlier in the interview, and that is you have to be you. You can't be somebody else.
Try to be authentic, yes. Try to be as much authentic as you can, because I know it's not always easy when you are a session musician, for example. But I think nowadays, a musician who has skills, who study, who has technical skills, and on top of that, he has a real authenticity. He's saying something to the music, and that's. We always have to remember why we started to do this, why we started to make music. So let's stay connected with this first choice we made as kids or young men, young people.
Yeah, that's great advice. Well, listen, brother, such a good record. Congratulations on the release. You are always welcome to come on this show anytime you have anything going on. So please, let's stay in touch. And if you get over this way, if you're going to do any touring around the record or anything like that, let me know and we'll be sure to promote that. Before we let you go, how can folks find you, on social media and things like that so that they can follow your whereabouts?
Yeah, it's made in Facebook. I have 2 artist page, and I don't use that much Instagram, but I'm learning. So also Instagram. The Facebook is Simone Prattico Official. I'm rebooting my website, and it's Mainly this one, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, we'll be sure to link up to you on our website, but thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to come on the Drum Shuffle, and I wish you nothing but the best with the new record. Keep us posted on how we can help.
Oh, Jamie, I'm super happy, and thank you for this opportunity. I love actually this podcast. I knew it already, and I'm very glad. Thank you so much, Jamie.
Fantastic. I hope you have a great evening. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Bye. Ciao.
All right, guys and girls, that's going to wrap up episode 139 of the Drum Shuffle podcast. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. We simply cannot do this show without each and every one of you doing so. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button on whatever platform you use to listen in to the show. That helps us more than you'll ever know. The biggest thing you can do to help us is share a link with a friend. Tell a friend about the show. We sincerely thank you for those efforts as we continue to grow here at the Drum Shuffle podcast. We have some great guests coming up in the future. There are a couple that I am working on right now that are absolutely incredible. I have nothing to announce at this time, but I am working on a couple of great shows coming up here over the holidays. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. We do answer every single email that we receive here at the podcast. Our email address is thedrumshufflepodcast@gmail.com. Our web address is thedrumshuffle.com, and you can always find more information on me over at jamieeads.com. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. We simply can't do it without you. Your homework assignment, as always, go see a live band before live music goes away, if it is safe for you to do so. Again, thank you for tuning in. So until next time, may your head stay strong and your sticks never break. Cheers, everybody.